back. My name is Mohammed Haboush. Today we will continue what we discussed in part 1. In part 1, we talked about the importance of a letter, how you approach customers. Why do we have very careful when we write a letter? In this part, we will talk about detailed letter format. The first and most important thing is the parts that should be included in a business letter. The first one is the letterhead. It has the name and the address of the firm, along with the phone, fax number, and email address. Or simply write your address as a sender and the receiver's address, and that's it, if you don't have a logo. Date. Date is very important as well. Mention the date on which you are writing the letter. There are two different formats of the date. You either write October 21st or 21st October. Both are correct. The next one is the subject line. Subject line shows a quick summary of the letter that you're writing. It gives a clue to the customer about the content of your letter. Add a clear word or a phrase to summarize the purpose of the letter. Make sure that the subject line is not long. Just make it as short as possible and clear at the same time. The next one is salutation. It means dear sir, dear madam, dear Mr. Haboush for me as a family name. And we will talk more about salutation in a minute. The next one is the body. This is the most important part of the letter. It explains the purpose and the detailed information about your product or service or whatever you're sending the letter for. The next one is a complimentary clause. Complimentary clause means you can say faithfully, yours sincerely, thank you for your time and effort. Just use polite language. Signature. Just put your name and job title and sign. Okay, if you remember, we talked about one of the parts of the business letter is to add an address. This is the format of the address. Simply put the sender's name. You're sending the letter, so it's your name, it's the company name, and then the street address, and then the city, the state, the postal codes, the phone numbers, and the email address. In between, you just put the date. And then the recipient's name, the person who's actually receiving the letter. The name, the company name, the street address, the city, it's the same, exactly the same thing. Salutation. Use Mr. or Ms. unless the reader has a professional title, such as doctor, professor. In both cases, you need to put the family name. So, dear Dr. Haboush, dear Mr. Haboush. When you know the reader's name, but not the gender, like in some other countries, sometimes we don't know the gender of the reader. We don't know the gender of the receiver. Simply call the company and ask in the reception, what's the gender? Is it him or her? Or use the reader's full name in the salutation instead. Dear Mr. Mohammed Hussein Haboush, and then a comma. If you don't know the reader's name or gender, use the reader's position or title, the job title. Dear HR manager, full stop. Dear director of Skyline University. Simple. Omit the salutation and use the subject line in its space. That's another option. Or you can use dear sir, madam. The subject line, as we said earlier, it has to be a summary, a word or a phrase, and it needs to be short and gives a quick summary of the content of your letter, so you don't waste the reader's time. Here are some examples. Information about the new car. Resignation. So I will know that, oh, this guy is resigning. Salary increase. Oh, I'm receiving a salary increase. That's excellent. I'm so excited about it. Ordering a new fridge. Call for an urgent meeting. The Rush Hotel special offers. So I know this hotel is giving me special offers. Okay, we go to the exciting part. The body of the letter. We said you need to start with salutation, dear, and then a family name and a comma. Okay, what's inside the body? This is a general format. General, it works with all letters, with a slight change here or there. The first one is introduction. This is where you explain the purpose of the letter, such as why you're actually writing to me, what you hope to achieve from this letter. You may even introduce yourself in it. My name is this, I'm working in this company, and I want to talk to you to give you some offers about our new hotel, or new service, or laptop, computers, food, anything. Now, the middle part is the actual detail of the offer that you actually talked about in the first paragraph. The third one is a conclusion. Simply just thank the person and tell him we will be so happy to have you with us as a customer, for example, and give some more detail about your contact numbers. Maybe you want to add your personal email. Maybe you want to add your own phone number, the private mobile phone, to keep him in touch. Maybe you want to give him timings that you will be available for more information. Okay. General guidelines. The message or the letter must be divided into short paragraphs. Give only important information in your letter. Unnecessary repetition should be avoided. Don't keep repeating the information. It's boring, and you will lose the customer's interest. It should begin 2 lines below the salutation. So, dear Mr. Haboush, and then 2 lines, and then start your letter. The letter should contain short sentences and straightforward information. Use simple language. Don't waste the reader's time. Make sure that the reader understands what you're talking about. Place a signature 4 lines below the complimentary clause, which, if you remember, thank you, sincerely, thankfully, thank you for your time and effort, and so on. Add enclosure at the bottom of the letter if you want to add more information. For example, you want to give him some pictures. You want to give him a booklet. More services that you're providing other than the ones that the customers asked about. When you have good news, put it in the subject line. As we said earlier, enclosures. This is an example of enclosures. It indicates any relevant information that you want to add to the customer. If you want to give him more services, if you want to talk about more offers, for example, if you want to add documents, you want to add tables, charts, pictures, it should be at the bottom of the letter. And this is how it should be done. Enclosure, and then resume, photograph, draft, report of 10 pages. If the customer is interested, he will see it. If not, it's over, it's done. Okay, students, this is the end of our discussion for today. We talked about the important parts of a business letter. In the third part, we will be talking about some practical examples. Thank you.